but our guest today, I got to tell you, being around here the past couple of days, the last time I remember this much excitement in the Bay Area, it was Hurricane Elena. That was not good. Today, it is great. Ladies and gentlemen, Hurricane Cindy, right here, Cindy Crawford. All right. Cindy. Whoa, all right.
I didn't find a magazine cover, but...
Oh, well, that's close enough.
This is the closest to a magazine cover I could find.
No,
with
I've
Jack
given her a
on the
picture.
cover.
What can I do? I'm doing everything I can for you, Cindy. Oh, yeah. Have a seat here.
For me right here?
Yeah, you know, I found a picture. I've got to get out here right away because this is incredible.
Oh, you had that one.
This one, well, I don't.
I saw which one you had.
The
one.
inside. Yeah, this is incredible.
Yes. Well,
What a shot. I don't know if most people have ever seen anybody that can look that good as a guy.
it was my George Michael Prince.
Yeah, this was unbelievable. And of course, today you're all clean shaven and everything, and it's nice to get you here. This town has absolutely erupted over your coming here, and we're so tickled to death to have you on the show. But this has got to wear you out. This is what, the end of a tour that you've been doing like this, right?
Yeah, I've been traveling with Revlon for the new fragrance Fire and Ice this week, and this is our 4th city in 4 days, and we go back to New York tonight.
Oh, how did Tampa get selected for this? Because usually you guys hit something like New York and Chicago and Los Angeles, and that's it.
Right. Well, Eckerd is a big drugstore that does a lot of volume with Revlon. So, you know, they try to put me in the markets where our products are actually selling really well.
Boy, I tell you, well, I got to show the products. I got them right here behind me. See. Here we go. This is, we got to thank Eckerd for this.
This is the men's fragrance, Fire and Ice, and this is the women's fragrance.
How about that?
They actually have really pretty bottles. You can ask me questions while I do this.
Okay, well, I'll get in here and get the men's bottle out and see if it's really pretty like you said. Oh, that is a pretty bottle, for sure.
That's Handsome bottle.
A Handsome bottle, all right.
This is the pretty one.
Built for a man. Oh, look at that.
Strong enough for a man, but made for a woman.
Yeah,
no,
this is nice.
I think, because it's Fire and Ice, so this is supposed to be like an icy flame.
You know, that's a neat name, too, Fire and Ice. I got a little list here I've got to bring out because this thing came out, I think it was last week. I first saw it in USA Today, and they came up with a survey. Now, this is a survey of the people of the top 10 TV commercial endorsers.
Right.
And you find people on there like Chevy Chase, Jerry Seinfeld's on that list, Elizabeth Taylor, Bill Cosby, some of the biggest names ever in showbiz. And at the top of it, number 1 was Cindy Crawford, Revlon and Pepsi. That's incredible.
Thank you.
That's unbelievable. But you have to feel pretty good about that because people trust you. This means they look forward to seeing you.
I think that it reflects that the products that I've chose to endorse really make sense with who the public sees me as. So, you know, Revlon, because I'm a model, it's very natural for people to want to buy makeup from me. They feel like I'm an expert on that subject. Pepsi's very all-American and, you know, kind of every market. So, again, it makes me feel good that I made the right decisions.
Well, I'm sure you have agents and everything, but how do you select who you're, because I know everybody's saying, we got to try to get Cindy Crawford. We got to try to get Cindy Crawford.
You just try to make sure that it feels right, you know, and that it makes sense with all the other things that you're doing. Like MTV is, you know, everything kind of works together. Because I do a style show on MTV, if I decide to maybe do a clothing line, it would make sense because people see that I know about clothes because I'm a model and I've covered fashion for TV and things like that.
This is something that's always baffled me. One of the most beautiful women in the entire world decides to start a relationship, and it's with what women consider to be one of the most beautiful guys in the world. You and Richard Gere, I mean, this is too much. Seems like, how do you all ever get time to see each other? I mean, he's making movies, and you're doing things like tours and modeling and MTV and workout videos and all that kind of stuff. Do you all ever have any personal life at all, any time together?
I mean, yeah, it's like I think the biggest plague of the 90s, it seems like, is that people are so busy. It's really hard to, you know, not only do most people work and then they got to work out and they want to see their friends and family and relationships. So you mean I juggle it like everybody else does, you know, and some weeks you're better at it than others.
Oh, I can imagine. Another thing that always gets me, and that is that you are always so picture perfect looking. I mean, you have to have the perfect skin, and you have to do that because of the shoots and the close-ups and all that kind of thing like that. Is it tough coming to a place like Florida? It's not so bad today. We don't have any sun out there.
Bad hair weather here.
It is bad hair weather?
Right.
You mean you have a bad hair day?
Well, thank goodness I have Anthony following me around, making sure I don't get too many frizzies. But it's not good hair weather here.
You know, I had a bad hair day this morning. I got up and it was that way, but Joe follows me around, sprays and stuff like that. Doesn't. I tell you what, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a moment with supermodel Cindy Crawford. Cindy Crawford is our guest, a person who certainly needs no introduction. excited crowd here today at Busch Gardens, no doubt about this. You know, we were so happy when Joe got out the that microscope and took a picture of you, because you have that very distinctive beauty mark here. And Joe took a close-up of it. Let's see if we can get a picture.
Right?
This is incredible what Joe discovered, and we were so happy when we found out. He took the picture, and then he moved in close with one of those microscopic cameras, right in on the close-up.
I can't even see that.
It's a Harrison Company logo. We were just blown away by that. But that does give you a distinction that's something that's since time immemorial that's been called a beauty mark.
Well, my sisters used to tease me that if it was on the right side, it was a beauty mark, and if it was on the left side, it was a mole. So,
a mole.
But I showed them, right?
I believe you did. I read somewhere that you went back to, I think, where is it, DeKalb, Illinois?
Right.
And to your high school reunion. I can't imagine being at a high school reunion and Cindy Crawford comes back, but what was that like anyway?
Well, it was my 10th year reunion, and I still keep in touch with some of my friends there, but there was about 300 people in my class, so I hadn't seen a lot of them for a while. So I mean, I was nervous like anybody else, like, oh my God, what should I wear?
You were nervous?
And I should go on a diet maybe, and all that stuff. Well, I mean, isn't that what you do when you go to your class reunion, is you worry about all that stuff? And I went, and actually MTV came with, and we did like a segment for my show on going back to your 10th year class reunion and kind of reminiscing. And then MTV left, and then I had a blast. I danced all night, and was up on the stage singing old songs with some of my friends from high school. It was really fun.
Kidding. That's great.
It was fun.
What were you like in high school? I mean, what were you, the homecoming queen and the most beautiful and this and that and all that stuff? You're
kidding. I was valedictorian.
You were valedictorian? Holy smokes. Well,
so how did I get into
what does that mean?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you have some, your audience all clap, so I assume that they know what that means.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't suspect that. What I would like to do is someday,
just you guys, I hope you know that.
No, they know that. No, I would like to meet whoever was the homecoming queen and the most beautiful girl in DeKalb High School. That must have been incredible.
It was the more the cheerleader type, little, she's actually still a really good friend of mine, but, short and cute, like cute.
Did you, were you a cheerleader or anything?
No.
Too tall, I'll bet. Huh?
I was on student council. I was on the math team.
Oh, man.
I wasn't a nerd. It's not like I, had a calculator strapped around my belt buckle or anything. But I was really into academics, and I actually went to Northwestern University on a chemical engineering scholarship.
Oh, I read that somewhere. That you were
But
going
I only
into
went 6 months. And that's when I really I was modeling in high school, like after school, and then it started taking off when I was a freshman in college, and I had to make that decision to leave. And it was a really hard decision because I had worked really hard for school all my life, and then but modeling doesn't wait. Unlike if I wanted to go back to school, I could, but at 35, I couldn't decide to go be a model. So I decided to move to New York, and it's paid off.
Someday you'll be sorry you didn't go on to college. People sit around and say that. What was the turning point in you becoming an overwhelmingly successful model? Did that just happen at one show or at one point or at one shoot or something like that?
Well, one of the big points in a model's life is your Vogue cover, your first Vogue cover, and that happened. I was in New York about 3 months, and I had August '86 was my first Vogue cover, and that kind of is the seal of approval. And then the next big thing is to get a cosmetic contract, and that's when I signed with Revlon. And once you get that, that's really the highest achievement in terms of just modeling. And that's why then I was like, well, gosh, I'm only 24 and I've done this. So that's why I started doing MTV and other things that I can be more involved with. And I'm actually starting a movie in January.
Well, I was going to say, if you could do anything you wanted at this point, what would it be? And probably movies or something like that.
Well,
right?
I think I'd be curious just to try. I'm not sure that I want to be an actress, but I have an opportunity to try it, so I thought, might as well try. It's in Miami for the winter, so how bad can it be?
Oh, yeah.
Better than being in New York up in there in that snow.
Did you ever think of going into chemical engineering?
I'm kind of over that phase now.
I would imagine. When you look back at all the rich and famous people you have been with and all the things you have done in this short period of time, what stands out? Is there any one thing that stands out that you say, boy, that's something I'll never forget?
Well,
because this is going to be one of my moments like this when I'm an old guy. Wait a minute. I remember back when Cindy Crawford and I were sitting together right there.
I think I got to interview President Clinton at the White House for even, like 3 questions, but that was pretty, I couldn't believe it. And I had met him before at a fundraiser, but it was I'm here in the White House interviewing a president, it was like, and I got to play baseball with Darryl Strawberry and Dave Winfield and Dwight Gooden, and since my dad doesn't have a son, my brother died, so for me to do like a real boy thing, I called my dad, I said, I was playing softball today for some charity game. He goes, well, You know, I said, well, I can't remember I said, this guy on my team, his name was like Daryl Strawberry. So my dad's like, Daryl Strawberry, you know, or Dave Winfield, all those guys. And then also, I met Paul Newman at the theater one night.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, Richard, it's Paul Newman. He's like, what am I, chopped liver? I said,
He sees with Richard Gere and meeting Paul
still,
Newman.
It's like Paul Newman, you know, and those blue eyes. It's just, he's amazing. And Gregory Peck, you know, it's just fun meeting people. Even when you're famous, it's still fun meeting other famous people because, you know, you just kind of feel like you know them in one way, or you want to find out what they're like, or you're just a fan. You're like any other fan.
Are they guarded when they meet you? I mean, because these guys are getting up the next morning, Paul Newman and President Clinton saying, you should see who I met yesterday, Cindy Crawford. This is unbelievable.
I think there's something weird about being a celebrity meeting another celebrity because you feel like you can, you acknowledge each other. You don't have to be quite so protected.
Yeah.
You know, there's something a little more relaxed, and which is why I like interviewing people, because I think sometimes when I interview people, they're a little more open with me because they know that I'm not going to probably be prying or ask inappropriate questions, and that I understand what it's like.
Yeah, you've been a victim of the
Right.
tabloids and things like that. They're looking for anything they can talk
Right.
about in that kind of
So
situation.
in a way, I think maybe I don't get like the hard-hitting news interview, but I get like more of a conversation, which I think is sometimes interesting too.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is my highlight. Cindy,
Well, thank
you
you
so much
very
for being
much.
with us today.
I'm
Enjoy
running
the
off
tour.
to New York.
Yeah, she's got to leave right away from New York.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Nice
much.
working
We'll see you next time through.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cindy Crawford right here on our stage.